of the insurtech market?
Yeah, I'll be blunt. 2023 was a tough year for all startup companies, but insurtechs in particular, due to the performance of those companies that came before us that IPO'd. And when you're held in public markets accountable for performance, started to demonstrate that their strategies were not long-term viable. That growing at all costs through venture dollar investments wasn't going to be a way to create a sustainable business or a profitable business or one with a loss ratio that could be controlled. And so I think I'm looking forward to what I'm calling InsurTech 3.0, the next wave of insurance companies that are coming out or through a very hard market. And with that pressure makes diamonds, right? We actually have to focus on profitability. We have to focus on performance in order to operate a business in a very different context of a macroeconomic environment that doesn't have a lot of capital resources available for companies to fuel growth through just digital ad spend or on the backs of VC dollars. But I think that's a tremendous opportunity. You're going to see the strong emerge from this period with really profitable, potentially businesses in the insurtech segment. So what I'd like to forecast and I hope we see is the delivery on some of the promises that insurtechs have always held. And I see that across threefold in insurance specifically. First is service to the customer, putting the customer first. And I think a few of the previous speakers spoke on being customer centric, really creating a product that works backwards from the customer's experience. And at Loop, we serve a customer, a lower credit customer, who maybe only has a car to insure, who rents their home, who pretty much every other car insurance company considers not preferred, right? They're not fighting for that customer. And that means that the quality of the service for that customer is really low. They're being overcharged, even though they don't present as high of a risk. They're not likely to be involved in car crashes. They may have completely clean driving records. But it allows us to create in a pocket where no one's really looking and provide a really high quality experience for people that haven't had that experience of service. I think that's one pillar that insurtechs are going to make a lot of progress on in the coming year. The second is around innovation, right? Digital innovation in particular. I think this year, Ajit Jain at Berkshire Hathaway mentioned in their annual press conference for their performance that they had about 600 or 700 different systems that did not speak to each other at Geico. And before they could, really innovate in telematics or really consider AI, ML, the first thing they needed to do was this technical overhaul of their data infrastructure and all of the technical debt that had been built up over hundreds of years of processing insurance policies, sometimes on paper. So what I see as well in the insurtech scene, this delivery on the value proposition that through technology, we can not only operate efficiently, but we can also innovate. And we do that with pricing, right? We structurally removed credit scores from the way that auto insurance is priced. And we're able to acquire customers with a very reasonable loss ratio performance over the last 2 years because we have the data infrastructure that gives us different insights with different data to qualify those folks for really affordable insurance. And that's going to keep happening in insurtech because of the technical sort of overwhelming debt that the institutions have that they're still working through with these 10-year, 20-year plans and hundreds of millions of dollars in investment. And I think the last bit I want to touch on is talent. Bobby mentioned, a lot of the insurance industry is looking to retire in the next few years. But what that means is it opens up a channel for those insurtechs that are paying attention to really high quality talent that hasn't been promoted from within the organizations that they're working for. Similar to our customers, they've been overlooked, they've been under promoted, they've been underpaid. And I guess one thing I want to touch on is while it may be scary still to work for insurtechs that have had cuts in their staffing for the last year or so, it does still present an opportunity for those who are ambitious and who are willing to take that risk of working for an early stage company to realize that diversity and inclusion in this industry is still possible, that there are companies that are making an effort to find a place where Black women, where Hispanic people feel welcome, feel celebrated, and appreciated, and are making contributions to the evolution of what insurance looks like, and who we serve and how we serve those communities specifically. So I'm optimistic about InsurTech 3.0 into 2023, and I think we still have the potential to achieve many of the fundamental benefits that InsurTechs were originally sort of created, the inspiration for transformation in this industry. And I'm happy to lead that as one of those leaders, as the CEO of Loop.